Thank you for joining me here on the last segment of the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast. Now, talking a bit more of a more fun topic to talk about here, one that I wasn't expecting to talk about when I was planning for today's show, how the New England Patriots are using virtual reality technology in preparing Drake Maye to eventually become their starter in the NFL. Drake Maye, throughout 2 weeks of OTAs, has been really still third in the depth chart for the New England Patriots behind Jacoby Brissett, who is scheduled to be the starter, and Bailey Zappi, still on the team and still slotted in there as the number 2 quarterback. It means just a potential for limited reps so far through OTAs because he is working with the third team. You don't really get as close as possible to NFL speed if you're working with the third string. So because of that, both the Executive Vice President of Player Personnel, Elliot Wolf, and head coach Gerard Mayo have mentioned it to local media in some press conferences or just media availabilities that Drake Maye has actually been using virtual reality as a tool to train Drake Maye and train others as well with simulated reps to enhance their learnings. Pretty rare and pretty unique strategy to implement here for Drake Maye. I've never seen it be done with an NFL rookie quarterback, especially one with a lot of pressure on their shoulders like Drake Maye was, a top 3 pick in this year's draft. To use now virtual reality technology is something very different, and I'm here for it, quite honestly. I think this is pretty fun and a pretty neat thing that the Patriots are doing. Just embracing some new forms of going about training, because you always hear about the Patriot way and being sticklers for how they do everything. Gerard Mayo and their new executive vice president, Elliot Wolf, come in there and throw a curveball right away, using some new tools and new technology to sort of grow their way of doing things. I'm always a fan of change and doing things outside the book, and it really piqued my interest as to how this could all work for Drake Maye. And, some people around the NFL or close to the New England Patriots, specifically NBC Sports Boston Sports Tonight, they had a show recently and they actually talked about this topic at hand. And one of their co-hosts, Mike Felger, brought up how the owner, Robert Kraft, was an owner of the Boston Uprising, an esports team based in Boston, and they, just to say the least, were not fans of Drake Maye using virtual reality to sort of get ready to be an NFL caliber starting quarterback in the NFL. They weren't big fans about it, and they sort of alluded to the fact that because Robert Kraft was involved in this esports realm and was the owner of the Boston Uprising team in the esports league that had a team based in Boston, they sort of alluded to the fact that that could have been why they decided that this was a good idea to use on Drake Maye, because you've never seen it in the NFL. I can see why some people would think that virtual reality, how does that apply to the top of the top, the best of the best athletes? To have virtual reality, not many people will buy into that really helping their quarterbacks if they're going up against some of the best athletes, some of the best minds in the game. How much really could virtual reality help out and prepare them to play against grown men out there who are, again, some of the best athletes in the world? That's where some of the doubt, comes from. The league, the esports league that I mentioned before, really didn't go far. It didn't develop into anything real serious, but Felger believes that now, because that they have this whole equipment and they invested so much money into it, they decided to use it and invested in Drake Maye and helping him learn in a different way, because he isn't really getting too many reps as of right now with the first team. They want to get him as much playing time and repetitions in this offense as much as they can. So they implemented this virtual reality, and in all seriousness and all, big thinking and just general thinking with this whole topic, oddly enough, Jaden Daniels, another rookie quarterback in the NFL now, is another quarterback that has used virtual reality as a simulation to sort of get those mental reps in, but at the college level, at LSU, you dig deeper into this and you get some more information on it, and you find out that LSU's Jack Marucci Jack Marucci is LSU's director of athletic training. He made an appearance on the NFL Network's Move the Stick podcast, and he gave a detailed explanation as to how LSU used actually a similar system to this virtual reality technology in their time with Jaden Daniels, and how that really helped him a lot in his development at LSU. He made it a point that he explained how it allows players to actually see different concepts, coverages as well, cover one, cover two, quarters, and stuff like that. It gets them more exposure to those situations with, I guess, a virtual reality helmet or the goggles, whatever they use specifically. They put that on and they could actually see different concepts with that and see different coverages along with, just seeing everything line up in front of them in almost as close to real life as you can get in VR. Also, they're able to render in hostile environments, according to LSU's Jake Marucci at his time in LSU with Jaden Daniels. So they could render in how a hostile or an away environment, away stadium looks through the goggles or through the helmet, whatever they use, to now get Jaden Daniels more accustomed to being in that environment. And how accurate it is, that I guess depends on the system or how much development they have in this technology. But with that, he went on to say that Jaden Daniels really benefited a lot from it, because now he could see through virtual reality where the play clock is, how everything's lined up, how maybe the opposing defense could line up in cover one or cover two. As an early young quarterback at LSU, Marucci believed that this helped out a lot, and after their first game, he not only said that Jaden Daniels was super efficient, but also he came up to him after the game and said that that really made a difference, and they, from that point on, incorporated it a lot more often. And again, the mental side of this, getting those mental reps in, I think he said in the interview with the guys on the Move the Sticks podcast that the mental reps after a regular day of training and practice, I think Marucci said that Jaden Daniels got over about 230 more snaps on top of the real-life physical snaps that he did in practice. He got even more so of the mental stuff down, 200 more times with virtual reality. So that's really the biggest positive of this. And the biggest caveat with all of this and how successful it was with Jaden Daniels, it was at a college level. So that obviously is a major point to bring in here, because, again, college is not the NFL, obviously, so to use it here with Drake Maye, is it a risk? I like the fact that they're doing it. I like the different implementations and strategies that they might be using to develop a quarterback, but it does make me uneasy, honestly, that you're going to be playing out there against some grown men, some of the best athletes, so maybe this won't be, and I don't expect it to be the main source of how they develop Drake Maye. I think that's the most important part. But right now, in the very, very early process of the offseason, it doesn't hurt to get Drake Maye more mental practice with seeing some opposing defenses, how everybody's lined up, how they move and maneuver themselves through this virtual reality technology. Can other teams use it, or do I expect other teams to use it? Sparingly, I would say. Maybe not with their quarterback ones, because I think some quarterbacks would probably not like it, in all honesty. Drake Maye's young. He's trying to fit in. He's trying to do whatever the coaches say will work for him. He'll try virtual technology. He'll try the VR. Why not? Younger generation, everybody loves video games from that age demographic. I'm sure he had no problem with it. But some of the older guys right now, you're not going to see Patrick Mahomes with a VR set trying to get some more mental reps in. I just don't think that's their style. Can it be incorporated a little bit more? I'd hope so. I think that would be pretty funny and pretty interesting to see if it actually does make a huge difference. But right now it's still in its infant stages, and I don't think it'll really gain too much traction right now. But maybe we'll get a funny picture of Drake Maye wearing the VR set and working out through some coverages. I wonder if he's out there wearing those helmets and those goggles out there on the field. That would be pretty funny to see him just going through the motions with the headset on. But in all seriousness, again, it is something different. It can't hurt, again, to have Drake Maye going through the mental reps at this point of his development. Now, if he goes out there on the field and maybe he surprises a lot of people and performs well, we all know what to blame it on, what to provide the explanation to, it is because of the virtual reality technology. That's what I would say if I was Drake Maye and he was impressing a lot more people. But it is something interesting being brought into the NFL, I guess. Gerard Mayo bringing in some new strategies here with Drake Maye and how they develop him. Will it continue? That is to be determined. But for right now, it can't hurt. And also, that'll probably do it for this episode of the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's episode of the show. And please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the show as well. And make sure to also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for more of this network's content. If you want to see more of me and this show, check out the GSMC Sports Network channel and the GSMC Podcast Network channel on YouTube for YouTube Shorts that are posted daily. All the live shows, full shows, are recorded and posted on both channels, as well as the individual segment videos as well. If you don't have time to watch an entire show, you can tune in to a specific part of the episode as well. And as a reminder, tune in every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for more football discussions and NFL conversations with me, Manny Maradiege, as your host. Thanking you guys for joining me. I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys back here on Monday to kick off the month of June.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to